Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another week of Business English 1. I hope you're all well and everybody's healthy and happy. So we're into week 7 now of the course, which is nearly halfway through the course. I hope you're all finding it interesting, and I hope you can see how we're trying to build the business language and the problem solving in English. And I hope you can see how it's what we're studying is going to be relevant when you actually leave university and you get into your jobs in offices and you start dealing with business situations in English. So hopefully that's all good for you guys, and you're all enjoying the course so far. As I say, we're nearly halfway through the course now. We're in week 7, and we're going to be looking at stress in the business place and the importance of stress within the workplace and within the business world in general. Okay, a few things to mention before we start. Thanks for the forum posts about the new tourist attraction that you all did last week. Again, fantastic, lots of creativity, lots of interesting ideas. Good to see you all commented on each other's posts, and yeah, really interesting to read this week. So thank you very much for doing that. Yep, a little reminder for you to remember, to access all the teaching materials again. So this video, I say it every week, but this video is just a talk through. It's just a walkthrough of the kind of minimum I want you to do. It's to talk about some of the ideas. Remember, there's PPTs there for you to work through. There's pre-reading, there's extra reading. Sometimes there's a profile, company profile, and there's always a forum post that most of you have found, and you're all contributing, so that's fantastic. So I just want to remind you to access all those learning materials that I put up on iClass. They're really going to help you develop your business English. Another little reminder is obviously midterms are coming shortly. They'll be here soon. I'm not going to talk too much about them in this video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a separate video because obviously it's quite an important thing, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the midterms and how they're going to be completed, and I'll do that shortly, so you'll be fully prepared for the midterm. So please don't worry about those yet. Okay, so let's get started then. So this unit is all about stress, stress in the business place. Hopefully those of you that did the pre-reading about about stress that I put on iClass last week, you're going to be aware of some of the terms that were in there and that we're going to be using in this unit. Terms like burnout, overwork, work-life balance, rat race, quality of life, job satisfaction. Just a few of the terms that was in the the pre-reading for this topic. So hopefully you're aware of some of those terms, you know what they mean, and you can be able to use them a little bit during this unit. Other things we're going to look at, we're going to talk about stress, causes, and some gender differences. We're going to look at participating in discussions, and we're going to look at developing a plan to reduce stress. That's going to be the case study in the forum post this week. Okay, so let's make a start then. So we've got the first question then. What is stress? So stress could be different things for different people, but what is your understanding of stress? Can you think of a good definition? Write down some ideas that you think is what stress is. If you're really struggling, go on to Google, see if you can find some definitions that you like and that you think define what stress is. So the Oxford English Dictionary state stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. So that's how the Oxford English Dictionary defines stress, and obviously in this unit we're going to look at stress in relation to business, in relation to work environments. So I like that definition. I like how it defines it as mental, emotional. It's a kind of tension from bad or difficult circumstances. Yeah, a good definition. And the next question we've got is, what situations do you find stressful? So lots of people have very different different ideas of what they think is stressful. For me, some things that I find stressful, driving. I find driving quite a stressful thing, especially in Korea, because it's a very different driving culture from England that I was more used to. So yeah, I find driving in Korea quite a stressful thing. Driving in Seoul especially stressful because I don't know the roads as well. Whereas my wife, no, not a problem for her. She doesn't find it stressful at all. But she finds like doing homework with my daughter, she finds that incredibly stressful. Whereas I don't really find that as stressful. So different people have different concepts of what they think is stressful, things they think are stressful. So the question is, what do you find stressful? Can you think of some ideas that you find stressful? And once you've done some things that you find in your personal life, how about in your work life? So if you've had a part-time job, what did you find stressful? For me, I always remember one of the most stressful jobs I had was being a waiter, and customer relations when you are kind of between part of a team, but you have to deal with the customer, but the chef is in the kitchen. I found that incredibly stressful. So that's a situation I found, a work situation I found stressful when I was a university student. Actually, I was a waiter. Some situations I find quite stressful these days would be Corona and the uncertainty at work and not knowing what's going to happen after midterm or when we're going to go back to offline teaching, and being flexible in the work environment, and that uncertainty of not knowing what's happening with your job. I find that quite stressful at the present time. So there you go. There's just a few ideas from me, from my personal life and through my working life. See if you can think of some ideas too. Write them down, jot them down in your journal, and see if you can think why you find them stressful too. Once you've finished that, move on. We've got the next question. Why is stress an important issue for businesses? So, why are we talking about this stress? This is a business English course. Why are we talking about stress? Why is it important for businesses? Can you think of some ideas? I can think of a number of ideas. Work-related illness, so stress, people take time off work. If they're not coming into work, that's costing businesses money. So there you go. That would be one idea. Absenteeism from work, staff retention. If people are stressed in their job, they tend to quit jobs. So it's difficult to keep hold of your staff. Maybe you're spending money on training them up, but then they're so stressed they just leave. Then you got to hire somebody else. You got to train them again. This is all money. It's going to cost the business money. Work accidents might be another issue. People who are stressed tend to make more mistakes. Some industries, that's a big problem. Example, car manufacturing. If someone has an accident in the plant, production's got to stop. Maybe insurance payouts. There's a lot of different costs to business relating to stress. So stress, I think, is an important issue. So, can you think of any other reasons why stress is an important issue to business? Again, write them down, jot them down, put them in your journal, okay? And if you can't think of any, go on the internet. There's lots and lots of examples of why stress is an important issue for business. I found some pretty interesting data. The annual cost of stress in the United States is $300 billion. So that's a little bit old, that statistic now, but still it gives you an idea of how much stress is costing business in the United States alone. Stress-related compensation claims, reduced productivity, absenteeism, exactly what I said, health insurance costs, medical expenses, employee turnover, again, that having to hire new staff and train them up. So there you go. There's some figures. Other statistics related to stress at work in the US. There you go. There's so many statistics here. There you go. You can look at them in more detail in the PPT, but there you go. There's so many statistics there. Those companies that try to reduce stress, they found a lower turnover rate. They've found less likely to want to find a new job. Lots and lots and lots of statistics there, and the benefits of actively companies trying to reduce stress. Let's have a look. Let's just go back and have a look at some of these statistics. Okay. Oh, right. There you go. 40% of staff psychological symptoms. Career changes, changing jobs, lack of energy. You know, there's so many. Again, I flicked through them really quick here because I don't want to dwell too much on them. I want you guys to think of your own ideas, but they're all in the PPT, and you can look through them at a slower pace and really maybe write some of them down. If you're gonna do the writing assignment for stress, there's a lot of great statistics in there for you to find out, and the benefits of companies actively trying to reduce stress. So have a look at those in the PPT. Okay, so once you finish that, we've got some stressful situations, and see if you can add the correct verb to create the stressful situation. So there you go. We've got going to the dentist. Go through those again. They're all kind of stressful situations that might happen in everyday life. And once you finish that, which of these situations do you find the most stressful? For me, going to the dentist, not really as stressful. Finding a parking place, I would say, that's pretty stressful. Again, I think you're kind of getting the impression I don't really like driving these days. So there you go. Stuck in a traffic jam. Yeah, so there you go. We've got some stressful situations for me, for us. And which of these do you find the most stressful? And why do you find them stressful? Okay, once you've gone through that, again, you can find it on page 44, question 8. How about some things you do to relax? So what relaxes you? Lots of people read, play sport, browse online, shopping, get a massage, watch TV. There's lots of things there. For me personally, what do I do to relax? I tend to go hiking more these days. I used to play soccer, but I don't play that so much now. But yeah, I tend to go hiking, ride my bike, go on a long bike ride, meet my friends, go out for dinner, have a few drinks, play with my children, go to the beach, those kind of things. That's kind of what I find relaxing. But what do you do to unwind and relax? And are they all good things? So there's a lot of bad things that some people do to, well, not bad, but could be considered unhealthy. So example, I said sometimes I go out for a few drinks. Again, not always the best way to relax. Some of you might be smokers. Smoking, very unhealthy way, but a lot of people find it relaxes them. Drinking coffee, obviously too much caffeine, not great. So can you think of anything maybe you do that is not maybe the most healthy, or maybe not the best way you could be relaxing? And how could you improve that? So there's a few ideas to think about. Again, write your ideas down. Jot them down in a journal so you don't forget them. Okay. Move me over there. And then we've got moving on to more business and work related stressful situations. See if you can rank them. What do you find most stressful, least stressful? Obviously for me, probably least stressful in there, telephoning in English. Not very stressful at all. If you change it to Korean, if I had to make some Korean phone calls, I think that would probably make my stress go a bit higher because my Korean's not so good. Writing a report for deadlines. Lots of people find that very stressful. Not really for me, because I'm usually very well prepared, and I'm usually finished quite a long time before my deadline's due. So I don't find that stressful because I reduce the stress by planning well. Other situations, I think asking your boss for a pay rise, I think I will find that incredibly stressful situation, because if he says no, then you've kind of got a work problem with your boss. How do you go about justifying that you need more pay? So I think, yeah, asking my boss for a pay rise would be quite a stressful thing to do. Covering a colleague who is away, a lot of people said they found that stressful, but again, I don't really find that stressful, but I don't work in a situation where I need to cover colleagues very often. So there you go. Work through those and see if you can rank them on a stress level 1 to 10. What would you find stressful and why? And again, write your ideas down so you don't forget them. Okay, so next one, we're moving on to the vocabulary section, and what you need to do is match the words to their correct definitions. So we got some of those words that came up in the pre-reading, so some of you will know these quite well, and see if you can match them to the definition that's in the book. So example, lifestyle, the way people choose to organize their life will be a good definition of what a lifestyle is. See if you can finish the rest of that vocabulary related to stress. Once you're finished, move on. And you've got to complete the sentences with the appropriate phrase from the previous exercise that you've just done. So example, I worked until 11 o'clock at night to meet the deadline for presenting the report. So there you go. That would be quite stressful if you're working late at night to meet a deadline. Maybe that person needs to plan better and organize their work better so they're not working at 11 o'clock at night. So work your way through those sentences and complete them with the appropriate word or phrase. When you've finished, have a little think to yourself, what jobs do you think are the most stressful, least stressful? For me, again, I already mentioned about the food service industry. I found that an incredibly stressful job. Um, so I really didn't like being a waiter. I found that quite a really difficult job, mainly because I wasn't really in control of the situation. I was really dependent on the chef being good, and often I worked with chefs that maybe weren't so good. So yeah, and I found that incredibly stressful. Other jobs that I found stressful when I was a student, again, an undergraduate student, a long time ago now, but I did a lot of different jobs. I worked for an agency, a recruiting agency, so they used to send me to lots of different jobs during my summer vacation, and one of them was working in a factory, just packaging coleslaw it was, which is kind of food, packaging coleslaw. I found it an incredibly stressful job because it was so boring. You think boring is not stressful, but time just went so slow, and I found it incredibly stressful. And obviously, it was a very, very manual, low skilled job. So a lot of the people in there they weren't they hadn't been to university. They had a very different educational background and a different social economic background to me. So we didn't have a lot in common or a lot of things we could talk about. So I found it very stressful working with these people that I had really nothing in common with. So yeah, again, so very different reasons why it was stressful. Kind of the people I was working with, the boredom of the work created a lot of stress for me. So there you go. There's a couple of examples. A job that I think must be incredibly stressful would be a kindergarten teacher. Obviously, my daughter is young, and she goes to a kindergarten now, and I think those ladies and people that work in kindergartens are just angels. I don't know how they do it. The stress they must be under must be incredible. I'm sure there's many positives of the job, but I would think kindergarten teacher must be an incredibly stressful job. Long hours, demanding situations, relatively low pay here as well. So there you go. There's some ideas of jobs that I think might be stressful or least stressful. See if you can think of some ideas and why you think that job would be stressful. Once you've finished that, moving on. Complete the stress league with the jobs on page 45D. So see if you can put those jobs in the league and see if you can get the correct positions in the stress league. Again, you can check the answers in the PPT that's uploaded on iClass. And then choose some of these jobs and what do you think makes the job stressful? So there you go, you've got minor at the top of the stress league. Incredibly stressful. Why? Oh, work conditions, physicality of the work, danger. In England, I think miners are very, very well paid, but I do know in many other countries they're not well paid. So low pay, many of them are uncontracted workers, I believe, in certain countries. So job security might be another one. So lots of things that make that a stressful job. And then you've got librarian at the bottom. Very low stress job. Maybe peaceful work conditions, quite relaxed work. They never seem too rushed, librarians. I do remember the lady at my college being quite stressed because she was forever telling students to be quiet. But so that could be one element of stress in the job, telling people to be quiet. But in general, it's quite a relaxed working environment. So there you go. See if you can choose some of these and why, what makes those jobs stressful. Again, once you're finished, move on. And see if you can answer the following questions. So we've got a number of questions. Do you like working under pressure? What deadlines do you have to meet in your daily life? Why do people become workaholics? How important is the work environment in reducing stress? Okay, so there you go. You've got 4 questions. Work through them, make some notes, and write your ideas down. For me, no, I don't like working under pressure. I find pressure very restrictive. It makes me feel not very well. It affects my health. So I tackle this, like I said before, by planning in advance and completing the work before it needs to be really done. So I give myself a lot of time and space to complete the job as best as I can. Deadlines you have to meet in your daily life. My daily life. Well, I nearly missed a deadline today. I had to take my daughter before I recorded this lesson. I had to take my daughter to the kindergarten bus. I nearly missed that deadline. I just got to the bus before it left. So there you go. That might be a very basic example of a deadline you have to meet, and I did nearly miss it today. So I was feeling quite stressed, but we got her there. And she's at kindergarten now. Other examples would be work related. Would be making sure I record this class on time so that you get it. Why do people become workaholics? How important is the work environment in reducing stress? There you go, guys. Work through these questions yourself and write your ideas down, just like examples I just gave you there. When you're happy you finish that, move on. And we got a listening exercise, dealing with stress. So you're gonna, there's Jessica Collin, Director of Health at Work Consultancy. And it says here, talk about the different causes of stress. Listen to Jessica talk about the different causes of stress and how she helps companies deal with them. Then see if you can answer the questions. So, first question, what 3 examples are given of things that make people feel under pressure at work? What is resilience to stress? Okay, listen to Jessica talk. You can click on the speaker of the on the PPT and just press play.
What are the usual causes of stress at work?
Listen to Jessica.
There are lots of things that can make people feel under pressure at work.
Okay. Once you've finished, there's a second listening exercise. And what 2 examples are given of companies being flexible in how they expect staff to work? So there's that key word, flexibility. A really great word in a business, especially if you're going for a job interview, you're talking about working situations, companies trying to be more flexible these days. So what examples does Jessica give of companies being flexible in how they expect staff to work? Then got a third one. What 2 reasons are given for why women report higher levels of stress than men? So there you go, you're looking at gender differences in stress there. And why are women reporting more stress than men? Okay, once you finish the listening exercise, there's a reading exercise for you. You can find that on page 47. And it says, rank these countries in order where you think business leaders feel the most stress. So there you go. Have a read through and see if you can rank them in order. The most stressed country, to the least stressed company for business leaders. And according to the article, what are the 4 major causes of stress in the workplace? So read through it, see if you can get those 4 main causes. There you go. There's just a few causes of stress that you can find. Once you finish the reading, have a look through them and see if you can think of any ones that maybe you've experienced, maybe in your work life or in your student life. There you go. And just going back to that reading again, if you look in the book, there's a lot of different extra questions. If you want to do them, please do. There's a lot of extra work in that book. Just work through it at your own pace. This that I'm is in the PPT. Again, just saying is the minimum I want you to do. If you want to look through this stuff and do the extra work, fantastic. Do it. There's a lot of extra work, extra questions you can do in the book. Okay, so when you're finished, you can have a look at the language section on page 48. All about the past simple and present perfect. Have a read through that. Again, there's a lot of questions for you to complete if you wish to. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on the grammar. I'll leave it up to you. If you want to, I know many of you have had a lot of grammar teaching up to now in your English education, so it's really up to you. If you want to look through that grammar, please do, and work through the questions there. But once you've finished it and you're happy, you got a good understanding of what it's talking about, we got the participating in discussion sections, the skills section on page 49. And you can listen to the Human Resource Department discussing different ways of improving staff's health and fitness. So there it is again. You can it's in the PPT. Just give it a click, press play.
Okay, let's talk about the staff's health and fitness. Last year, days lost increased by over 50.
Have a listen to that and see if you can complete the gaps in the sentence. You know, you can look through there's more extra work you can do, but have a look at the useful language. There's lots of great language there, making suggestions, giving opinions, agreeing, disagreeing. Lots of great language there that you can use when you're participating in staff meetings and discussions. And again, great for business English too, when we do the role plays. So if you're doing business English too, again, make a note of that. Come back to it. There's a lot of really great language in there. Okay, so last bit to do on the skills section, participating in discussions. You work in a human resource section of a large company. How would you deal with the following problems? So again, it's a problem solving exercise. So you got one problem, two problems. First problem, many employees feel uncertain about their jobs and careers in the company. They worry about their future. They're constantly anxious and don't sleep well. How would you deal with that situation? Maybe you'd like to offer them longer contracts. Again, financially tying your company to to them there. So is there any other ways you can deal with the situation? Maybe you could offer them professional development, staff training, so that they feel they're progressing, they're developing their skills. Should they lose their job, they'll feel confident that they can go to another company and find another job with the skills that you've given them through professional development. That could be another solution. There you go. There's lots of different ways you could solve that problem. How would you do it? Think of your ideas, and why would you choose those reasons? Problem 2, we got some staff are stressed because they feel they have no control over their work and they don't participate in decisions. They say they feel worthless and are not valued by management. So there you go. How are you going to deal with that situation? Maybe if the company is a very hierarchical structure, you could change the structure to more of a horizontal power sharing structure where everybody kind of gets some input. That could be one way, quite a drastic way, restructuring your whole company, but that is one solution you could do. But can you think of other solutions? How would you deal with that? Maybe working in smaller groups rather than bigger groups. There's lots and lots of different ways you can solve that problem. How would you do it, and why would you choose that option if you worked for the human resource section? Okay, so there you go. Once you've finished that and you've got some good ideas, you've made some notes, move on to the case study. And this week's case study is based on Davis Miller, an advertising agency. So a little overview of the situation is what you need to do is analyze and tackle the problems of stress and low morale at Davis Miller. As I said, an advertising agency that has recently lost 2 major contracts or accounts. A little bit of background. Davis Miller rapidly expanded. It's got lots of strong competition. The work conditions are good. There's a lot of good pay, but long hours. Job security is a problem. People are worried about their job security. Recently lost 2 major accounts. Oops, easy. And 65% of the company, so well over half of the company, are feeling highly stressed. You can read more about Davis Miller on page 50 and 51 in the book. So have a look at that. Get a good understanding of the company and the situation. Okay, so it gives you 4 incidents of things that have happened at Davis Miller as a result of stress. James has disappeared in the middle of negotiations after getting drunk in front of clients. Jessica thinks he has had a breakdown. They've promised to help him. So that's just one example. You've got 4 examples there. But let's take James. So he's got drunk in negotiations, pretty bad in the middle of negotiations. You could fire him. It's definitely a fireable offence. But is he a good salesman? Does he make you a lot of money? So if you fire him, you're going to have to replace him. And you're going to have to find someone that's maybe as good as James. Maybe he's a fantastic salesman. Maybe this is just a one-off mistake. So how could you find that out? Maybe he's got some problems. Maybe he's got some personal problems. Maybe he's going through a divorce. Maybe his children are sick and in hospital. Maybe there could be any number of reasons. So maybe you want to tackle it in a different way. Maybe you want to help James to get over his problems and keep him on the staff. Maybe you want to fire him. But if you fire him, then you've got to replace him. Also, Sheila's promised to help him. So the company's actually promised some help. how are you going to deal with that situation? And there you go. You got James, you got Bridget, you got Jolanta, you got Juliana. Work through them. See if you can. How would you deal with these situations? So, as a member, what you need to do is you need to develop a plan to reduce the stress. Just like I mentioned with James. So you are the member of the Human Resource Department. You need to develop an action plan to reduce the stress. What are the main reasons the staff are highly stressed or demotivated? Which problems do you think are the most serious? Which actions should the Human Resource Department take in each case? So there you go. You got three questions there that you need to answer, and while you're developing your plan of how to solve stress. Maybe you want to tackle it as a company-wide, so a large-scale solution. Maybe you want to tackle it as a small-scale solution, so you're tackling in the individuals. You could do it company-wide, so a large scale, and tackle it as a company. There's so many different ways you can do this, and how you do it is completely up to you. So develop an action plan to reduce the stress. And this flows into this week's forum post. So what you need to do for the forum this week, your forum post is on iClass, write 300 on the forum page, write 300 words how the Human Resource Department at David Miller could develop a strategy to reduce stress. Think about your plan in detail and draw up a proposal to help combat stress in the company. So there you go. All those things that we talked about. How you do this is really up to you. You could take one situation, so you look at it at a very small scale. You could just do James if you want. How are you going to help James? Maybe you want to take two people, Jolanta and James. Maybe you want to do all four of them. Maybe you want to tackle this as a really large scale solution and just do the company as a whole and draw some ideas for the company as a whole. It's a very, very broad question, this, a broad task. How you do it is completely up to you. Be original, be interesting, think about your structure and how you're going to present your ideas. I think that's a really key to this forum post. How are you going to tackle the problem? What scale? And then how are you going to put that point across? Anyhow, I'll leave it up to you. I look forward to reading them. Once you've posted your reply, other members in the class again can read it, learn from it, and respond to it. Again, keep that feedback positive. Tell the writer some of the things you liked about it. I'll do the same. I'll have a read through them, and when I see stuff that I like, I'll put some messages up. Do the same, and really learn from each other. And yeah, it's a really interesting one, this, how you deal with stress in the workplace, I think. And if you like this, you can do it as your writing assignment. So again, writing option 5, as the head of Human Resource Department of David Miller, write a recommendation section of a report to the CEO, outline your suggestions for reducing stress in the company, both short and long term. Again, you can see examples on page 129, but they're just very, very basic example. I'm looking for a really high quality piece of work to be handed in on week 14. Remember, I only need one assignment this semester. Okay, so don't worry too much about it now, as midterms are coming. Think about it in maybe a few weeks, but it's a great one to do this. I like it. It's interesting. There's a lot of creativity there. There's a lot of different ways you can answer this. So go for it, guys. Be creative. and come up with some original ideas. And that's it for today. Hopefully you got this walkthrough is giving you some ideas of what I'd like you to do, and some ideas of how you can answer some of these questions, and suggestions, and reasons why stress is important in the work situation in business. Okay, that's it from me. Just a little reminder again that obviously this is week 7. Week 8 is going to be the midterm. I'll send some emails, I'll send a message out shortly to inform you more about that midterm. So don't worry about it, don't get stressed about it, do the stress unit, and then look at how we're going to tackle the midterms together. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all your hard work and listening. Go through the PPT, work through that. If you want to do more of the book stuff, fantastic. Don't forget the extra reading, don't forget the pre-reading, and I'll talk to you all again very soon. Okay, guys, take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.